Morning, boys and girls, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I'd like to continue our study of David. Remember now, we've learned about him when he was younger, he was anointed by, can you remember his name? Begins with an S. Yes, Samuel. And David was a shepherd boy. So there's another S, isn't there, for shepherd. Well, one day, David had to take some food to his 3 brothers who were in King Saul's army. And at that day, there was a large man. He might even be considered a giant. And he came out into the valley between the 2 armies. On one side of the valley were the armies of the Israelites, the good guys. On the other side were the armies of the Philistines. They did not love God. But they had among them this giant of a man. His name was Goliath, and he was over 9 feet tall. Can you imagine? That's way bigger than even James LeBron, for example. He was huge, and he wore on his head a great big helmet. And over his chest, he wore a breastplate that, again, couldn't be pierced by the arrows. So he thought he was well protected, and he thought he was mightier than just about anybody else. And every day he came out into the valley between the 2 armies, and he taunted or he made fun of the Israelites. He said, "Won't you send somebody to fight me?" But everyone was afraid of him, including King Saul, the king of the Israelites. Well, as I said, one day David had been sent to bring food to his brothers. 3 of his brothers were in Saul's army. And David was there, and he saw Goliath come out and go, "Hey, isn't anybody gonna fight me?" And everyone was just quiet and acted like they were almost not even there, pretended to be kind of invisible. And David, after watching him, said, "I'll fight him." And Saul, the king, said, "Oh no, you're just a young boy." We don't know exactly how old David was at the time, but he was probably somewhere between 12 to 15 years of age. We're not really sure. Anyway, he said, "Oh no, we can't let you do that." But David kept saying, "I will go. I will fight Goliath." So Saul tried to put big armor on David. Well, the armor was too big for David. He said, "No, I don't need this armor." He put the armor down, and he picked up his staff, and he picked up his sling. A sling looked like this over here. And he picked up 5 smooth stones. Now, David had to use the sling quite a number of times as a shepherd. Remember, I told you that he once time had to fight a bear, and another time a lion, and he used his sling against those animals that would have come and tried to eat his sheep. So David knew how to use his sling really well. Well, he walked down into the valley, and when the big giant Goliath saw him, he was like, "You send me a kid to fight me? This is ridiculous. He's a child." But David didn't pay him any mind, and Goliath was like, "This'll be easy." Well, David took his sling, he put a stone in it, and he slung it around really fast, and then he let go of one of the leather thongs that it's made of, and it hit Goliath right in the forehead where he didn't have protection, and he fell to the ground, and he died. Now that's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing in so many ways. First of all, that a young man who wasn't even grown up yet could go after this huge man called Goliath. Here's a picture of what they think Goliath might have looked like at the time. It's also amazing that David had the courage to go after Goliath when all the other men, his older brothers, even the king, were too afraid of Goliath. But Goliath didn't have a faith in God, and David did. And David's faith in God was enough for him to realize that God would help him and protect him. That's an amazing story, isn't it? And it goes back again to Psalms 23. Let's see if you can remember the first parts of Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I have everything that I need. And the part that we learned last week, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. And the part we're going to add on today, it says, he restores my soul. Now the soul is that part of us that lets us know when we're doing what we're supposed to and when we're not. And it says God restores. So when we've done something wrong, we can ask God for forgiveness. And he does. He restores our souls. And it says, he leads me in the paths of righteousness. Now, you know what it means to lead on a path, but this isn't just your usual path. This is the path of righteousness. Righteousness, the first part of it, helps us understand what it means. The paths of right. And it says, for his name's sake. That means for the name of God, that we will follow in the paths of what is right. I hope you'll remember that this week, and I hope you're learning what we've learned so far in Psalms 23. Have a good week. Bye-bye.